Hello ladies and gents, long time no see. Jarek Defiler here with another patient gamer paragon of perpetual powerful plague-ridden pleasantries. What am I talking about? Tales of Maj'Eyal. Maj'Eyal. I don't know how to fucking say it. Will someone please tell me how to pronounce the words? Anywho, after putting a few hours into this absolute masterpiece of a game, I decided to write up a little first impression. So sit back, relax, put your feet up, get a massage, and let's take a glimpse into Tales of Maj'Eyal. Developed by a few peeps at Neckcore Games, or one person actually, that goes by the name of Nicholas Casalini. Tales of Maj'Eyal. You know what? We're just gonna call it ToME. ToME is a roguelike dungeon crawler that is considered more on the traditional side of roguelikes that finds one journeying across the lands, diving into various dungeons and battling enemies while developing your characters. Like any other roguelike, you level up and find items that make you stronger and complement your current build on any given run. ToME generally is built around having a single death, like a true roguelike. However, there are options to play with unlimited deaths, are only a few that you get every couple levels. But to get the true ToME experience, it is recommended you do the single death route. Make things more intense, nah I mean? On the surface, I have to be honest, ToME doesn't look like anything special. The graphics look a bit outdated, being that it was released in 2012, and the turn-based nature is something we don't really see in modern games anymore. Not that there isn't modern games that have turn-based mechanics, it's just that ToME has a very unique style of turn-based mechanics. However, you should not let that fool you, my pretty little pets, for ToME is a truly fantastic romp that will scratch that roguelike itch and find you coming back for more, over and over and over and over and over. For starters, the actual combat and gameplay loop is very intriguing. Having never played Rogue or any other traditional roguelikes, I'm new to this style and found it to be quite the treat. With every step you take, a turn passes, thus having the game revolve around you, the player, and your supple, pudgy, Cheeto-encrusted baby fingers. You attack in melee by just stepping to or clicking on an enemy, or you can click the hotkeys of an associated ability to do a ranged attack or spell. Seems simple upon first glance, but this mechanic actually brings a unique spin on the more fast-paced action, combat, seizure, death of low attention span that we see in most modern games today. For one, it allows for a fairly deep amount of strategy and tactics. It's not as simple as it would seem on the surface. You can set up your battles, choose your battles for the most part, and then execute some gnarly tactics to overcome your enemies. And with the plethora of items, spells, and abilities in the game, there is no shortage of tactical options. But at the same time, if you want to just speed through into the next area, you can do that too. Just spam the movement key, or better yet the explore key, and you'll find yourself charging through the lines like a bat out of Helsinki. But just because you can go fast doesn't mean you should. No siree, that is actually the worst thing you can do most of the time, because for every step you take, every turn you make, the enemy is watching you, and they step along with you, or after you. As a result, you can swiftly find yourself surrounded and subject to violations of your fragile person. Such as here, ooh, and here. Sweet, sweet death. As I was learning the game, I succumbed to many forever sleeps that often found me baffled and confused at times. However, I never felt irritated, frustrated, or downright enraged. This was because I felt something that I wasn't quite expecting. Fairness. Every single death I embraced at the hands of various cutthroats, orcs, dragons, vampires, teletubbies, zombies, and more, I always felt were my fault. I'd think to myself, you know what, you stupid piece of shit, maybe next time you don't rush into a room full of red dragons while wearing nothing but a kilt and a flaccid wand you found at the bottom of the swamp. And so, I learned. And with each new run, each new sacrifice, and each new sore butthole from the constant reaming I was taking, I found myself steadily getting further and further. But I was still a-struggling. My rule was that every time I died, I would have to try a new class and/or race combination. And it was fun. Some more fun than others, but that's mostly subjective. And I found myself climbing up the progression ladder. Slowly but surely. But usually I would not make it past level 11. That was until I created the ultimate warrior, GRUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUuUuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuuu sword and shield and sexy ass. Gotta love her stupid hat. She's a tanky little beast with too much inventory. But she can take it like a boss and don't think she won't leave you in a puddle of your own entrails. Oh wait, never mind. Level 22, ladies and gents. That's the highest level I achieved thus far, and that's where I thought I'd stop and do a first impressions. Although it was sad to see Garunda die, it was fine. She overstayed her welcome and found herself a stain on the floors of some cunt named Vorith the Elder Vampire. What a dick. But hey, them's the breaks, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because like I said, it always feels fair when you die in ToME, and GRUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUUU Either way, I had a blast with that run, and that's the takeaway of this story. Each run will bring something special and fun. Although you may find yourself delving into the same dungeons, everything outside of the overworld is procedurally generated, so things remain fresh with new layouts and randomized enemies. Never really gets boring. And as you progress in each run, doing quests and achievements, you unlock other characters and classes, allowing you to create even more memorable runs with various builds. There's also a few items you unlock in the meta that follow you from run to run, such as a transmogrification chest that allows you to dismantle excess loot into monies. And it never gets old. That's what really surprised me here. Sure, I've only ever gotten to level 22 over the span of a few hours, but I still have a strong desire to play more and unlock more and honor the God Queen. But enough about our succulent dwarf goddess. What else does ToME have to offer? Well, there's a great amount of itemization, like good itemization. There is a plethora of stuff to get each run that allows for all kinds of crazy builds. This isn't Diablo 3 and 4 levels of itemization where you have 5% increased damage to Mexicans, 7% increased damage to Lithuanians under the age of 4, 3% increased movement speed after eating Indian food and running to the bathroom. Nope! The items in ToME are actually interesting, fun, and significant when it comes to influencing your build. For example, there's a funky looking hat that does lightning damage per turn within a certain radius of you. I got this on a rogue who specialized in stealth, and then I started to build around it, implementing all the lightning penetration items I could find. This allowed me to just run around in stealth, zapping everyone with little to no consequences. Now, enemies may still find you in stealth, you're not entirely invisible, it's actually a fairly deep system, but I was investing heavily into the stealth mechanic, allowing me some fairly unobstructed movement among enemies. Eventually, I was found out and slaughtered, but up until that point, it was just a super fun build. And that was just one build out of, I don't know, thousands? So yeah, itemization, brah. You got a plethora of weapons, armors, rings, amulets, and these, I guess, weapon things that are like rocks or some shit, I don't know, but there's a ton of stuff to loot. I've barely scratched the surface, and each new run has me finding new toys that I have no idea what they do, but then I actually take the time to read the text and find out that they're pretty cool. Break down. As mentioned before, you have access to a good amount of different classes and races to mix and match on each run as well, each with their own stats, weaknesses, and strengths and whatnot, so your class-race combo will be affected based on which race and class you choose. For example, a halfling might make for a piss-poor bulwark due to having low strength and constitution, but they might make a great rogue with their dexterity and cunning modifiers. You can still make them a bulwark or warrior, but it might not have the best results. Each class has their own playstyle and talents, which are the abilities you level to build your character. They have passive, activatable, and sustained talents, which are like auras in a way. But as far as I know, due to the level 50 cap on your character, you are limited on how many talents you can max out. So I don't think you can top off everything, which requires you to think before you invest, and really focus on making a good, fun build each run. This also encourages multiple playthroughs with the same class, allowing for a great deal of varying playstyles. Alright. And as I said before, from what I played, the classes are all pretty interesting and fun, with the Alchemist being the only class I didn't really enjoy. The rest were all very engaging and fun to me. And I actually have more classes to unlock than I have access to at this point, which gives me even more replayability and meta progression to look forward to. Alright, sex with classes. The fun part about this is that I unlocked a lot of the classes without even knowing how. I didn't even know there were more classes to unlock, to be honest. I would just be in a dungeon doing my thing, and then I'll suddenly kill a boss or complete a quest, and bam! Just like that, I get a message stating I unlocked a new class. Fun stuff. There's a lot more I could go over here, but I would mostly be talking out of ignorance because, like I said, this is just a first impression, and I'm barely scratching the surface of this phenomenal game. And you know, after reading some of the overwhelmingly positive Steam reviews, I noticed that many players unironically claim ToME to be the best roguelike on the market. I can't attest to that because I have more experience in roguelites rather than roguelikes, but I can most definitely see the worthiness of respect in this title, and I feel that it probably is one of the true greats. So, from what I played, I have to give it my recommendation. So, from me to you, my friends, I, Jarek Defiler, think Tales of Maj'Eyal is a truly fantastic roguelike that every fan of the genre should experience, if they haven't already. I bought it on Steam for the very low price of $7, but you can actually get it for free on the game's website. And they have a couple of DLCs that I haven't played yet. They all go from the low price of $4 up to $7, and I'll be probably getting those shortly. Just wanted to try the vanilla game first. But even though the game is free, I ask that if you go that route and find yourself slightly aroused at the enjoyment of such an intoxicatingly captivating venture, then please support the devs by dropping your hard-earned cash either through donations or Steam. Gotta support the indie devs, guys. They're keeping this industry afloat, and I love them. And like I do in all my reviews and first impression videos, I would like to leave you with a snippet of the game's soundtrack. Unfortunately, I was unable to find any information on the composer of this soundtrack for this game. After scouring the internet for many moons, I came up empty. I have failed thee. So I had to resort to ChatGPT, and according to them, it was done by a woman named Ferna, also goes by Halcyonic Falcon X. However, on her YouTube page, I couldn't find anything that was related to Tales of blah, blah, blah. That said, you might want to check her out because her music is actually pretty good if you like video game soundtracks anyways. Hers is deep into the JRPG genre from the sounds of it. So yeah, no idea who did the music, but it's great and I love it, and I'm going to give you a taste of the track called Virtue Lost with all its harps, harpsichords, and flutes and sexiness, yeah. Thanks for watching my silly little first impressions. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for future patient gaming videos, and you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night depending on where you are. This has been Jarek Defiler, missing his Garunda. Take it easy, folks.